Hello, my name is Todd Elliott, at least according to my written script, and I'm a student in History 512, American Revolution. Dr. Schultz is my professor for this class. Welcome to my video discussion post on Phyllis Wheatley. I'm here in the Portsmouth Colored Community Library Museum on Elm Avenue in Portsmouth. And a little bit about the museum, which you can find on the website. The Portsmouth Library Association was created by a group of African Americans in the community who raised funds for land on which to build a library. So again, I just want to show you around the museum and some of the artifacts that were used here and some of the people who were instrumental, and I mentioned Miss Edwards, something particularly special. Miss Edwards was a member of the Phillis Wheatley Literary Society, and I did not know that before, and that was shared with me with the curator here, Miss Diane. Phyllis Wheatley was the first published African-American woman in North America. She was sold into slavery around the age of 7 and transported to the British colonies, where she was purchased by the Wheatley family of Boston. John and Susanna Wheatley were responsible for teaching Phyllis to read and write and encouraged her poetry when they saw that she had talent. The publication of her first and only book of poems in 1773 brought her fame in England and the American colonies. Figures such as George Washington praised her work. And you know her name. Direct reference of her is made in the History and Social Science Standards of Learning for Virginia Public Schools. It was published in 2008. But how much do you know about her? And how familiar are you with her work? Of her life before arrival in Boston in 1761, very little is known. Scholars have considered the Senegambia region, but it's still speculation. Wherever she was born, try to imagine a small child of 7 making the perilous transatlantic voyage on a slave ship. Cramped conditions, illness, high mortality. How terrible it had to be. Surely an ordeal to be forgotten for someone like that, someone with a poet's soul. In fact, she was named after the ship that transported her to Boston. Her book of verse was published in Great Britain titled Poems on Various Subjects, Religious and Moral by Phillis Wheatley, Negro servant to Mr. John Wheatley of Boston in New England, which is, by the way, available to download for free in various ebook formats on the Gutenberg Project website. So check that out. And it is dedicated, the book, not the ebook, is dedicated to the Countess of Huntington and dated June 12, 1773, just a couple of years shy of the American Revolution. John Wheatley, Governor Thomas, her owner, Governor Thomas Hutchinson, and other Boston notables offered their own affirmations that the poems were solely the work of an African slave in America. Allow me to read you an excerpt for a poem on imagination. Imagination, who can sing thy force, or who describe the swiftness of thy course? Soaring through air to find the bright abode, the imperial palace of the thundering God. We on thy pinions can surpass the wind and leave the rolling universe behind. From star to star the mental optics rove, measure the skies and range the realms above. There is one view we grasp the mighty whole, or with new worlds amaze the unbounded soul. Hi, we're here in the local history room of our main library here in Portsmouth. And this room holds a lot of information related to the Portsmouth beginnings, related to the founding of Portsmouth by Colonel Crawford in 1752. And I thought it'd be a great place to close out our discussion about Phyllis Wheatley. Recommended activities include identifying and defining difficult or unusual words. And there are a few, and the woman who wrote in those early colonial days of America. For example, pinion, seriously, which I discovered is the outer part of a bird's wing, but all I knew about pinion before was rack and pinion, like in those old Chrysler commercials. But kids need to learn to locate those words and define them so they understand them for themselves. Read their poems aloud in class and talk among themselves about how the words are used differently from today. And to write a poem about Phillis Wheatley or another famous woman from the American Revolutionary Period.